Yo, what's going on, you guys? Your boy B Mahari here, represent MehariNation Sports Podcast. Welcome to episode 49 of Basketball Conversations. This is the NBA Finals edition of Basketball Conversations right here on this channel. Hope y'all been having a great Friday evening. You know what I'm saying? If you're staying home, thank you all for tuning in to this show, man. And we're gonna break down some of the details of the first two games of the NBA Finals thus far between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to smash the like button as you come on in here, you guys. A little bit of a late start there. Had to take care of some family business, but I'm here and we're gonna get down to it. You know what I mean? I've been very much been impressed with the first two games of these NBA Finals, and as of right now, the dynamic backcourt of Devin Booker and Chris Paul had been the headline of the first two games of these NBA Finals. So make sure y'all make sure y'all come on in here, smash the like button as you come on in, and we'll get down to it as we eloquently do all the time right here on this channel. So with that being said, we won't take too much of your time, so let's get down to it there. We might just go probably half an hour, 45 minutes. It's not going to be too much of a long show. It's not going to be too long, so just bear with me, okay? So, right now, as of this point right now, this dynamic backcourt trio of Devin Booker and Chris Paul has been the main headline of this entire series. Pretty much the first two games. Devin Booker and Chris Paul have been doing an excellent job controlling the entire pace of the series. And what I've been what I've been particularly been impressed with more than anything else is how these guys they take the best high percentage shots available. They work within the flow of the game, and also they do a great job of controlling the pace of the game. And it particularly starts with Chris Paul. And so Chris Paul for the first two games of this series, he had 32 points in game one, and then he had an average 23 points in game two, while Devin Booker, thus far, he scored 27 in game one and then scored 31 in game two. And so, right now, as we see it at this point right now, the dynamic backcourt of these guys has been pretty much the talk of the series. And thus far, the Bucks have been having a problem trying to contain those two guys. Drew Holiday's been getting Jade on. Chris Middleton has been having a hard time, dealing with the matchup problems with not just with the guards, but also with Mikal Bridges and dealing with Jay Crowder too as well, and also with DeAndre Ayton, dominating in the paint on the inside. It's been pretty much a dominating first two games for the Phoenix Suns. Now, it's not what being said that the Milwaukee Bucks have not competed. They have competed very much admirably in the first two games. But when you look at how both of these teams look offensively, it just fails a comparison of the two because Phoenix has more weapons that they can use and can find other ways to score rather than just relying on one guy. While the other guy, Giannis, has been pretty much battling that knee injury that he suffered in Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Hawks, and so he's barely at 100%. But you have to give Giannis his due of trying to battle back from those injuries. As I see my brother Jonathan McFarland in the building. Salute, brother. Welcome, welcome. So yeah, at this point right now, the way that things are looking, I think that if the backcourt continues on the production as the series shifts to Milwaukee, I think that what you're going to see is pretty much a microcosmic topic same script of what we saw in the first round against the Los Angeles Lakers. You know what I'm saying? Even though they went on to lose the next two in LA, they were able to gather themselves together and just pretty much dominated the Lakers in terms of that matchup. You know what I'm saying? So right now, if you had to choose of who's the Finals MVP thus far in the first two games, to me at this point, Devin Booker deserves his roses of being the Finals MVP. Considering the fact, think about this: anytime the Bucks made a move to cut the lead down to seven, midway through the fourth quarter, again. Devin Booker, timely threes, timely shots by Chris Paul or Devin Booker or even Mikal Bridges, who chipped it a playoff career high 25 points. It's always it's always somebody that's always coming in making timely shots that's pretty much kept them at bay. You know what I'm saying? And so at this point right now, yeah, the Bucks right now. are pretty much are overmatched right now in terms of what the Suns are throwing at them. But again, this is just the first two games. We're gonna see how the Bucks can adjust themselves, and I'm gonna talk about what the Bucks can do to try to get themselves back into the series in just a few minutes. But yeah, when you look at the stat total, Giannis led all scorers with 42 points on 22 shots and grabbed 12 rebounds, even though he had some air balls. I'm just getting tired of the people just counting down, you know, you know, uh, the free throw countdown. Like, bro, give me a break. It's not like the man. It's not like you're not gonna rush him or anything like that. But right now, the way I see it is Middleton and Drew Holiday, they have to step up. I mean, they're right now. Those two guys alone have been the big reasons why they are falling behind in the series. Drew Holiday, after stepping up the last few games against the Hawks, only scored 10 points in game one and only scored 17 in game two. He's only combined to score 27 points in the last two games. Not enough. He's got to step up more, and he's got to be able to provide a lot of offense. So let's turn the page right now. So I'm going to talk about how the Bucks can try to get back, how the Bucks can get themselves back into the series. As I see my brother Andre in the building, he said they have no answer for CP3. That too, but they also have, right now they don't have an answer for Devin Booker too. And the way that Devin Booker's been performing right now, I would have to give him, his roses as a possibly Finals MVP of the series if the Suns go on to win the whole thing. Now you ask me, would you be surprised if the Suns sweat them? Not really, no, because right now, to me, the Suns they're healthier, but also they have more weapons they can go to, and they have a deeper bench. Even though Sarge is out with the knee injury, they have more other sources they can go to, like Cameron Payne, you know what I'm saying, and other guys that they can basically help contribute. While the other guys like Drew Holiday and Milton had to pretty much help out Giannis, in terms of their offensive efficiency, because if they don't, that puts them in a bind right now. And can you trust Brooke Lopez to be consistent from outside a lot of time? No. You know what I'm saying? They need those other guys. They need those two guys, Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton, to pretty much step up there. Because if Chris Middleton ends up disappearing like he's normally been the last few seasons, the Bucks are not going to win this championship. In the first two games of this series with Chris Middleton, you know what I'm saying? He had the outstanding game in game one, scoring 29 points, but then he disappeared, scoring only 11 points. Listen, Chris Middleton has to step up. He has to step up and play much better. If he doesn't have an excellent game in game three on Sunday, the Bucks are going to go down 0-3. And it's very difficult to basically come back from an 0-3 deficit in any round of the playoffs, let alone the finals for that matter. But just remember this. Just because a team just went down 0-2 does not mean that the series is pretty much over with. Okay, there have been at least four teams in NBA history that have came back after losing the first two games: 2016 Cavaliers, 2006 Miami Heat, 1977 Blazers, and 1969 Boston Celtics. Both of them lost the first two games of the series, but then came back and went on to win the series. Okay, so it's not like the series is pretty much over with, but you're pretty much telling me that the Bucks right now have to look for a silver lining to this. Right now, it doesn't look well for them because even though Giannis had his excellent performance in coming back from the knee injury, scoring 42 points on 22 shots, all right, which includes 14 to 17 on 2 pointers and pretty much hitting 11 to 18 from the free throw line, he was pretty much, putting his foot on the gas pedal. You know what I'm saying? But the problem was he didn't have enough from the other star players like Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton. You understand what I'm saying? If that doesn't be the case, I think that right now the Bucks are due to get swept from the playoff, from the finals. And I know 78 doesn't want to hear this though, bro. But if Middleton and Drew Holiday don't step up in Game 3 on Sunday, then they're going down 0-3, and it's going to be very difficult for them to come back into the series. All right. So let me go ahead and check out the chat real quick. What's up, JC? JC, how you doing? Jonathan McFarland says it's funny that the media is blaming Giannis, but ignoring the fact that Middleton and Holiday have been pretty much MIA. That, bro, I've been ignoring them, bro. Like, listen, what more do you want from Giannis? All right, the man pretty much came out from the hyperextended left knee that was fearful of being torn in the first place. The man has been pretty much busting his behind throughout the whole series. And you mean to tell me that you're going to put the blame on him when Chris Middleton disappeared and pretty much, Drew Holiday's been disappearing? And don't get me started on Brook Lopez, okay? You're telling me you're going to put the blame on Giannis? Man, that don't make no sense. It makes zero sense to me. All right? Yes, Giannis can shoot better from the free throw line, but that's pretty much the only flaw that we've seen in the first two games. He's pretty much given everything he's got. But right now, the Bucks right now, if those two other stars don't step up to the plate, all right, they're going down 0-3 on Sunday. I guarantee you they're going to go down 0-3. Andre says, I just don't think the Bucks are that good in all honesty. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's just your opinion. He also says, still haunts me to this day knowing that the Bucks passed on CB3. Yeah, man. Yeah, they could have. See, people bought into the hype of, that Chris Paul was an aging point guard, that he didn't have anything left in the tank. And right now, he's showing a fountain of youth in this series and pretty much showing the fountain of youth this entire season. And so I don't think Chris Paul is done yet. He's still got a lot more miles left in the tank. You know what I mean? I think he's still got at least a good 2 or 3 more years of, excellent basketball before gradually he breaks down. So I still think he's still got way more left in the tank. Listen, he doesn't rely on athleticism. He relies on using screen and roll to hit mid-range jump shots and setting his teammates up. He doesn't always have to attack the basket and get to the free throw line like he used to do in his earlier years when he was with the New Orleans Hornets and when he was with the LA Clippers. All right? So he's got way more left in the tank. So I wouldn't put it past CP3 to see him playing at least 2 or 3, maybe 4 or 5 more years of excellent basketball before gradually, his body starts to break down because, Father Time's always undefeated. Andre says, I agree 100%. CP3 has a lot left. Facts. Absolute facts. Then I see my brother, Brandon Nicholson, in the building. One of my favorite subscribers on my channel, man. He always is holding me down, bro. Always holding it down. But yeah, the way that the Bucks can get back into the series is simple as this. They need to shoot better. See, right now in the first 2 games, let me post up the stat line of the first 2 games of this series. Game 1, the game won by the Suns. Okay, Bucks, they shot 44% from 3, and then the Suns shoot 32%. Not bad, but the free throw line was a big difference. Suns went to the line 16 times, scoring at least 56% of their free throws, while the Suns went to the line 26 times and only missed 1 free throw, 25 of 26. All right, they need to be the aggressors and pretty much attack. Now, game 2, we rewind back to game 2, the same game that Phoenix Suns won. Okay, stat line. All right, near the same percentages, but again, the 3-point percentage disappeared. They shot 9 of 31 from the 3-point line, 29%. They went to the line 23 times, but basically shot only 65%. Again, here's the big thing they have to do. Okay, they have to pretty much dominate the rebounding total. Now, they did have 46 total rebounds, but here's the big disparaging remark. They had 18 offensive rebounds the Bucks had, but didn't take advantage of those second chance opportunities. All right. The Phoenix Suns shot better from 3-point range, hitting 50%, shooting at least 20 of 40 from 3-point range, and then shooting 48% from the field. All right. They did a better job. The Bucks did a slightly better job in several key areas, but they did not hit their timely shots and didn't make the necessary stops to get themselves back into the game, especially when they cut the lead down to 7. Then Devin Booker hits a 3. Then Mikal Bridges hits a 3. And then also Chris Paul hits a mid-range jumper to push the lead back to double digits. They were just hitting timely shots that pretty much, was the deciding factor in the series. The Bucks got to do the same. Anytime that a run happens, that the Phoenix Suns get themselves back into the game, they have to hit timely shots. All right, we know what Giannis is going to give them. Okay, I'm not worried about what Giannis is going to do. He's going to give them at least 25 points and at least 10 rebounds minimum. But the big thing that has to happen is Middleton's got to have a great game. He's got to score at least 20 to 25 points. Also, Drew Holiday's got to score at least 15 to 20 points if they're going to have a chance to get back into the series. Then they got to clamp down on the screen and roll. What I think that has to happen is Anytime that Chris Paul is looking to set a screen for DeAndre Ayton, instead of switching, the guards have to basically fight through the pick and stay attached to Chris Paul. Make him work to try to get his shots up, or try to make him work to try to pass up the ball to somebody else. And if Devin Booker has the opportunity to get open shots, you got to stick on him like glue. All right, deny him the ball, and if he catches up, and even if he catches the ball, in terms of on the perimeter, make him shoot the ball over the top, make him shoot over the tough contested defense. Okay. The thing is, though, bro, you got to be able to, defend those two key guards. Everything starts and ends with the two guards of both Paul and Booker. All right. You know that Jay Crowder can sometimes be inconsistent. You rather have Jay Crowder be the one to beat you than have Devin Booker rain threes all over you. All right. We know that DeAndre Ayton is dominant inside in the paint, but here's the thing with DeAndre Ayton. You got to box him out, and you got to get physical with him. He does not like physical play. All right. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Jonathan McFarland says another way that the Bucks can get back is benching Brook Lopez and start Giannis at the 5 and put Portis at the 4. You know what, bro? You have a that is a great idea, bro. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you something right now. I think Brook Lopez is more of a liability right now than an asset on the floor. Because with him on the floor, he can't match up with Aiden. He can't match up with Crowder, and he certainly cannot match up with any of the other backup bigs that the Suns can throw at him. So why not put Giannis at the 5, put Bobby Portis at the 4, because then you basically can have a two-way combination inside the paint. Because Bobby Portis, if you give him the minutes, he's proven he can basically score inside in the paint. All right, and he provides a physical tenacity that you especially need right now. All right, then you put PJ Tucker at the 3 because he can basically still defend in the perimeter a bit. Okay, and then basically you have your backcourt. I think that would be a great idea. I think that here's the thing. I don't trust, the Bucks coach, Bud, uh, Budenholzer, to make that adjustment. I think he's the type of coach that's going to stick with his lineup. He's going to stick with the guys that got him there. But if you're trying to get back into the series and win a championship, you got to make a necessary adjustment, even if it's a lineup change or basically a defensive, a different defensive look. You got to do something about it because right now, listen, the backcourt's been doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? Jay Crowder had a good game 1, and then Mikal Bridges lost his mind. All right, and the bench for the Suns has been fantastic. Okay, you gotta make some necessary adjustments. We're gonna see what adjustment the Bucks can do to try to get themselves back into the series. Brandon Nicholson says it still haunts me knowing my Miami Heat let Jay Crowder go. He defended Giannis better than Trevor Ariza, bro. Can somebody tell me why Trevor Ariza is still being proven as a good defender? Because right now the guy has regressed, and he basically lets people blow by him. Like, come on, man. Like, seriously, man. Like, it's not that hard, bro. It's not that hard to recognize that basically Trevor Ariza is not the same player that he once was when he was in L.A. or even New York when he got drafted. So yeah, bro. Ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous. The Heat would definitely would regret that one. So yeah, that's what I think right now of how this series is going to shape out for the Milwaukee Bucks. It's going to be difficult. I'm not saying it's not going to be easy. It's going to be very, very difficult. But that's what I think that has to happen. If they don't make that necessary adjustments, this series is going to go down 0-3. And I guarantee you that even if the Bucks win Game 4, the Suns are very confident that they can pretty much wrap up the series in 5 games. All right, that's just the whole facts. They have to win Game 3 if they're going to have a chance of even entertaining a possibility of making the series competitive. Then in Game 4, you can focus on tying the series up. All right, so I'm not putting past the Bucks of trying to come back into the series, but the odds of doing it are very, very difficult. But it has to start in Game 3. All right. So that's my 2 cents of how the Bucks can get back into the series. I think they need to change their lineup, change the defensive look. They need production from the two other players of both Middleton and Drew Holiday. And Giannis is going to give them what they give them. But they need to control that backcourt. Like I told you many times, everything starts and ends for the Phoenix Suns with those two guys in the backcourt, as you see to your right. All right. If Middleton and Drew Holiday don't give him anything in the next two games, this series is either going to end in a sweep or it's going to end in 5 games. And I picked the Phoenix Suns to beat them in 6. All right. So it has to start in game 3 for the Bucks. All right. And hopefully the home court advantage, can help them out in terms of, getting some energy and maybe getting some favorable calls. Now, I will admit to a certain extent, as I'm going to change up my screen now to the main screen real quick. There you go. I will admit to this. I will admit that there were some calls that felt like they were a bit favorable in terms of for the Suns. But listen, the Suns were more of the aggressors. All right, they were the aggressors, and they basically initiated the flow of the game. All right, when you initiate, the terms of the game. You know what I'm saying? It's going to really like pretty much how the officials are going to see how things are going to be officiated. You understand what I'm saying? So right now, man, you know, people can complain about how the officiating has been the first 2 games. It doesn't matter. Great teams are able to ignore the bad officiating and just focus on playing basketball. If you let the officiating get into your head, you're not going to win. You know what I'm saying? That's how that's it does it's work it applies to every level in basketball. You just have to ignore the calls, you know what I mean? And and just and pretty much, do what they gotta do to get back into the series. Okay. What's up, 88 Sports Talk? How you doing, man? Brandon Nicholson says, I just hit your PayPal to send you a few bucks. I had to give you a little something. You show me love, so I had to give you some love back. Thanks, man. Man, I appreciate you, bro. Appreciate the love, man. I appreciate it. When the 2-0 says, I thought the Bucks had a very good chance with a healthy Giannis, but in reality, this could end up being a short series. It could be. It could be a short series. Like I said, it could end up being a short series. But again, you know, Giannis is pretty much giving him everything that he's got despite the bad knee. But like I said, those 2 guys that you see on the picture screen, Middleton and Drew Holiday, they have to show up. You know what I mean? If they don't show up and provide any offensive lift for the Bucks, is going to end either in a sweep or in 5 games. Any Sports Star says, my sons let the freak do whatever he wanted, which I lived because the others in Milwaukee were getting cold besides Covington. Right, right, exactly, bro. You know, Covington is pretty much their only consistent bench player for the Milwaukee Bucks. That just tells you something right now, you guys. So let me check out the bench total, the bench scoring for the series. I mean, for the Bucks. All right, there's your starting lineup. Pat Covington only scored 14 points. Jeff Teague only 4, and Forbes only had 3. So combined, they've only scored 20. They only scored 21 bench points in game 2, while the other guys, Cameron Johnson 8 points, Cameron Points at least 2 points, and then Torrin Craig 6 points. That's a combined total of 16 points off the bench, but they were critical points off the bench in big time moments. Jay Crowder had 11 points. DeAndre Ayton had his regular double, 10 points and 11 rebounds. And then Mikal Bridges actually scored 27 points in a playoff career high. I mean, the guy was pretty much hot, hitting shots from downtown and providing a defensive presence on the backcourt too. So yeah, right now things are not looking good for the Milwaukee Bucks, but there's still plenty of time to get themselves back into the series. You know what I mean? But it has to start in game 3. But speaking of which, you know what I'm saying? I heard I've been hearing somebody, running their mouth saying something a little bit controversial. And who am I talking about? Mr. Stan Van Gundy. So let's get something straight about what's going on here. Let me check this out real quick. Give me 1 second. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So Mr. Jeff Van Gundy, I should say, not Stan Van Gundy. So pretty much Jeff Van Gundy had some controversial comments during the game. So during the performance of by the Phoenix Suns, Jeff Van Gundy during the broadcast pretty much made a comment that said he apparently said about Devin Booker. looks like a choir boy, but he plays like a hoodlum. What? So after those comments were pretty much heard from pretty much billions of people all over the world, Twitter went to task and pretty much burned this guy. And not a good comment, in terms of what he said. So Justin Ellis pretty much said, Jeff Van Gundy saying David Booker looks like a choir boy, but plays like a hood in 2021, and the ESPN NBA broadcast team are trying to pull themselves through racism. And then there was more. You know, me me when I heard Jeff Van Gundy say that Devin Booker looks like a choir boy, plays like a hoodlum. Like, come on, man. You know. Now, as you guys know by now, you know, yeah, as you guys know, ESPN's going through a lot of controversy, especially last week when the whole Rachel Nichols and Maria Taylor stuff, came into light. Right now, Rachel Nichols is not working for working the sidelines for the 2021 NBA Finals. But right now, ESPN to me, they're trying to watch themselves of the stake of racism in terms of their network. But here's the problem: you've been pretty much preaching, diversity, on your network. You've been trying to, promote, this Black Power, this Black Lives Movement type of thing, but your actions and what you do say otherwise. So don't believe in anything that ESPN does at this point, because right now they're not coming from a good place. It's all about business with these people. And so, you know, at the end of the day, man, ESPN is pretty much fake, and I just cannot wait till ESPN loses their contract to the NBA and has somebody else and have another network take it over, because right now ESPN is hurting themselves with all their controversial stuff that's been going on behind the scenes, and it's pretty much been ridiculous, man. So let me just check out the chat real quick. So when Nicole says, "Oh yeah, I remember that," I was like, "Uh oh." Oh yeah, I know. Brent Nicholson says, "I actually believe the series could go either way, but looking at the first two games, I've been scratching my head, wondering what happened to Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton." I know, man. I know. Skip Bayless says, Skip Bayless, 88 Sports says, Skip Bayless said the Bucks play better without Giannis. Shaking my head, bro. This will be a see if the Greek Freak's not in the lineup. Man, ignore Skip Bayless. He don't know nothing about basketball. This is the same guy that pretty much only scored 2 points in a high school game. The guy doesn't know nothing about basketball. Just ignore him, man. Windico says he even paused a bit before he said the hoodlum, and it was like thinking it's something non-offensive to say. Yeah, bro, but here's the thing. It was offensive. You say hoodlum, that's basically another code word for the N word. All right. Listen, ESPN right now, they have been pretty much been damaging their own reputation right now. You know what I'm saying? And if this continues onward, trust me, they're gonna lose they're gonna continue to lose a lot more viewers, and they're gonna lose a lot more than just that. Because trust me, sports and leagues do listen to some of the controversial takes that from a lot of these networks. And if this continues onward for a long period of time, believe me, what I tell you, the NBA is not going to put up with that. They're either going to tell the network, listen, you got to get rid of these people if we're going to continue to do business, or we'll just go do business with somebody else. And trust me, they're willing to do that because ESPN needs the NBA right now more than the NBA needs ESPN. I mean, that's just the truth of the matter, you guys. So that's just my 2 cents about it. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Son of Goku, what's up, man? He said if the Bucks don't make adjustments, the Suns are gonna go 4-0 and sweep the series. Well, it's on the Bucks. It's on the Bucks, you guys. You know what I mean? It's on the Bucks to make those critical adjustments. Change the lineup, change the defensive look, and contain that backcourt. If they don't do those three things like I mentioned, this series is going to pretty much be over with. Tuno says, already don't watch ESPN much. The only time I watch is when there's a game's on. As game's on, I turn as soon as the game is already over. Right, dude. Me neither. I don't even watch most of their shows because their shows are just pretty much toxic. All right. I know a lot more about basketball than all those two guys combined. And more importantly, the analysts that work there, they used to play in the NBA, they're pretty much bought off, bro. Like, it's just pretty much ridiculous. And another thing, too, I pretty much lost all respect for Steven Jackson too for his take of defending Rachel Nichols. Like, bro, like, listen, you can't come around and beat all this, supporting George Floyd and supporting the lives of black people and all that other, stuff, but then turn around and then try to display your defense for Rachel Nichols. Like, bro, that is a terrible look, man, and you're losing a lot of respect and credibility. I had some decent respect for Steven Jackson, but at the same time, honestly, he's becoming much more of a sellout to me than anything else. So yeah, that just pretty much is what it is. Son Goku says it's funny how they fired Paul Pierce immediately, but then they suspended Rachel Nichols. White privilege for you, man. That's just white privilege at its finest, bro. You know what I mean? Because listen, Paul Pierce didn't do anything wrong. All he did was just spend some time, just drank some beer, and just had some good-looking women around him. That's it. But this Me Too movement. How much they are offended by this. So, but Paul Pierce doesn't need ESPN. He's already a Hall of Famer. He's gonna be fine without them. So that just is what it is on that part. But I said that this is going to be a short show today, so I'm gonna keep my word on that. So, you know, it's going to be I'm going to pretty much end the show for now, guys. But you know, keep on the lookout for some upcoming videos that I'm going to be dropping, during the weekend, and don't miss, game 3 of the NBA Finals between the two teams. We're going to see what the Bucks can do. Bucks will try to do to try to get themselves back into the series. But thank y'all for tuning in, guys. This was just a half an hour edition of Basketball Conversation to the NBA Finals edition. But I might do a post game live stream on Game 3. If not, I will probably do a quick video about it, just discuss my thoughts about it. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. But hey, what's going on, Lewis Sports Network? He says salute, man. I'm doing a baseball show. Try to show some love and support. Brain, thank you, man. He said my latest paper video, Pimpin video exposes more narratives. Right, bro. Hey, speaking of Scottie Pippen, I actually pre-ordered the book on his book that's going to be coming out in November. So we're gonna in the next few months we're gonna be doing some investigative videos about some of the things he's talking about in this book, and then I'll be expressing some of my opinions a lot about that too as well. So be strap yourselves up, you guys, because we're gonna break down a lot of the things that Pippen has to say in this book that he didn't have the chance to say in the Last Chance documentary. So we're gonna see what happens from here. But thank y'all for tuning in, guys. Much love to y'all guys. Hope y'all having a good night, and enjoy the NBA Finals. Game 3 Sunday night as the Suns lead 2-0 as the series shifts to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. But much love to you guys. Y'all have a good night, man. Stay safe out there. Peace.